Hi, Mr. Biggers here, and today we're going to do Module 8, Lesson 1A for logarithms and logarithmic functions. Why is this 1A? Because we're going to pick this up once we start using graphing calculators for the second part of Lesson 1. For today, you're going to learn a trick that we're going to be using all the time, and I call it the around the world. So this is my little trick here to help us remember. So we have all these words. We have the symbols here. That is just for you to reference why does this make sense in math. Here's the trick. So logarithmic functions, essentially, I mean, there's some videos on Canvas you can watch, but a logarithmic function, what is a logarithmic function? I'm looking it up. It's a number. The logarithm of a number is the exponent by which another fixed value, the base, must be raised to produce that number. So it just is a way for us to kind of process and deal with exponents and different things in math. So the big thing here is we're going to have some variables that we have to solve with logs, and we have to understand how that works. So if we have something like log base 2 of 8 equals y, we can do this around the world trick. So you start with your first number, which happens to be 2. Then you swing it around the world. So you do 2 to the power of y is equal to 8. And you can do that trick to get rid of a log. Okay? So in the same respect, you could do around the world to turn it back the other way. So that's the around the world trick. So hopping into here, example 1, we're going to practice this. So you start with your first number, and then you take it around the world. So my first number here is 4, and then I swing it around. So 4 to the power of 3 is 64. That is a truth that is verified in math. 4 to the power of 3 is 64. So that is writing it in exponential form. Okay, we're going to do the same one. If you're watching the video, go ahead and pause it. Try this. This is going to be 9 to the power of 1/2 is 3. So 9 to the power of 1 over 2 is equal to 3. Remember, anything to the 1/2 power is the same thing as a square root. So that's the answer there. So that's around the world. You can do the same exact thing to change it back into a log. So we're going to hop over here, example 2. So you start with your first number. First number that occurs left to right is 7. Then you swing it around the world. So it's going to be log with a base of 7 of this is equal to, the last number you land at is the 6. So log base 7 of 117,649 equals 6. You just take it around the world. Same thing here with the 8. Start with your 8, take it around the world. So log base 8 of 4 is equal to 2/3. So log 8 of 4 is equal to 2/3. And you can type these in your calculator too to get the answers as well. But we'll more on that once we get to the calculator. All right, so how do you do example 3? How do you evaluate logs? So you need to let the logarithm equal to y to start out, okay? So I'm going to do part A. So I've got log base 6, 36 is equal to y. You could also do x, but for some reason in math they usually do y. You're going to take it around the world to get rid of the log. So it's going to be 6 to the power of y is 36. Then pretty much you are going to, there's 2 ways you can do this. The one way is, you know, if the exponent of 6 is 2, then it's equal to 36. 6 times itself is 36. So you know that's the answer. So that's one way to do it. The other way would be to get the same base and erase. So this is the technical way that the textbook wants you to do it. Remember, you can write 36 as 6 to the power of 2. And then this one is 6 to the power of y. Since it's the same base, you can erase it, and you're left with the same exact answer. Y is equal to 2. Okay? So there's 2 kind of ways to do these. The other one has a fraction. Okay, so we're going to take it around the world. Remember, I'm going to think of that as a y. So 4 to the y power is 1 over 64. So 4 to the power of y is 1 over 64. So I'm thinking here, what would make this 1 over 64? So to get a fraction, if you have an exponent, you need to have a negative exponent. So I need to figure out 4 to what power is equal to 64. That's what we need to figure out first. So you can write 64 as a base of 4. And that would be 4 to the third power, I believe. Let me check. 4 to the power of 3 is 64. So rewrite it. And then we're going to figure out what power that is. So same base erase. Cross those out. Boom. You get x is equal to 3. Now, since we're really dealing with 1 over 64 in our problem, we know to flip over a fraction like that, it needs to be a negative exponent. So in this example, it's negative 3. Okay? So the answer for part B is negative 3. The answer for part A is 2. So you're pretty much asking yourself, what would that exponent be to get it to work? And you can use the tricks that we've been doing. At this point in the video, you can pause it, try the checks, work these out, and that's your notes.